name is Adrian Nanchev, and this channel is all about championing hemp's use and bringing it into the mainstream conscience. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads. Now, how is it that hemp can enter the public's consciousness? The public will only really start to think of hemp as an alternative and start to take it seriously through repeated exposure when they hear about it again and again and again. And then, when they hear about it again and again and again, they'll take it for granted. They'll start to assume that because they've used it before, well, they're going to think, well, why isn't it hemp? It's always been hemp. You know, it was hemp last time, hemp before that, hemp, hemp, hemp. Why isn't it hemp? It's like nowadays, anything, what's called the isolation effect. Anything out of the ordinary, it sticks in their mind. Like, that's why a lot of people would buy hemp clothing, because it's made of hemp. Ooh, that's different, that's unique, that's novel. So, through businesses, yours, mine, others, through repeated exposure, that is how hemp can go through the mainstream conscience. When the public starts to see things like hemp paper, or hemp construction, or hemp buildings made of hemp, or biofuel, or even hemp plastic, then they'll start to take it a bit more seriously. When it's on the fringes, like they think it's a drug through just perception and the stigma, then they're not going to take it. They're not going to take it seriously. But as soon as they start hearing, oh, it's a biofuel, oh, it's made this building, these row of houses are made of hemp, then they start to take it more seriously. And then when in the conversation, when they're at the bar or at a pub, they're bound to talk about it, more likely word of mouth, because it's isolation effect. It's something out of the ordinary. It's something unexpected that's remarkable, so that it stands out in their face, and they're more likely to talk about it because it's an interesting story as well, how they discovered it as they're socialising. It's like, I saw these houses today, but they were weird because they were made of hemp. You know that stuff? Ooh, interesting. But I think that with construction especially, it's quite powerful, because it's something physical and tangible that can last a long time, and people can live in it as well. So if people live in hemp houses, people are going to joke and start saying, oh, you high all the time, all that bollocks. And then it's like, no, not really, it's actually a good place. It's warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And then you could also talk to the experts and professionals by saying that R value is 20, and it sequesters carbon. So the people who really care about the building houses and all the rest, the professionals, for example, and the architects and builders, they're like, they're going to look at it at a much more critical angle and say, how does it compare price-wise to construction, toxicity and all the rest to other things? The weight, how easy, how is it dry and stuff like that. So they're going to look at it more critically. The general public are going to be like, it's made of hemp, it works, it does a damn good job, I like it. Someone else has the same opinion, I like it as well. Good. And then we can further compound that by saying, if we've got hemp, if we sell hemp produce as well, like milk, just here, milk, hemp milk, and hemp shampoo. I mean, I think these need a bit of work with design. The design matters in colour palette and tonal value and silhouette, but that's a different topic. I cover that in another video actually, but I believe that through repeated exposure, through housing, through food stuff, through even the paper, you know, what are these books made of? Oh, it's hemp. Really? Oh, that's so cool. That's weird. That's out of the ordinary. It's worth remarking about. Through repeated exposure, when it's seen again and again and again and again, people are then going to think, oh yeah, made of hemp. Yeah, I've heard that before. Heard it 1,000 times. Yeah. Anything new? Anything different? No. What happened to cotton? Oh, I've not seen that in a while. The only thing, as a slight detour, is biofuel. I think my main concern with biofuel is that from an economical point of view, it's not going to be as effective or profitable as just going to solar and electric cars. Because why devote that land to grow biofuels when we can devote that land to grow food and etc. and paper and clothing, and where renewable energy is only going to get better through time, Moore's law going to double over time, that it's not economical to grow biofuel. And also in places like Norway, by 2025 they're going to get rid of electric cars, and they want purely or largely electric cars on the road. They will get rid of diesel and petrol, and they want electric cars on the road. So that could be an interesting trend for Scandinavian countries and other countries in the world, moving away from fossil fuels towards electric cars. So that's how I think, taking it back, that's how I think hemp can go into the mainstream conscience, through repeated exposure and through what's called the isolation effect, leveraging that at the start, leveraging word of mouth. This is why I've called my business We Want Hemp, because it's a bit of a mantra and it's a chant, but also when people are talking about it in the pub or a bar, We Want Hemp has a lot more word of mouth, what I call a Trojan horse like marketing, where it's embedded into the language. You know, trying to give you an example. Okay, for my previous business, I sold personalised messages on potatoes. So happy birthday was written on a potato and sent to someone. That business was called potatointhepost.com. So when a potato arrived in someone's house, it's got the isolation effect, it's unexpected, and because the name is Potato in the Post, they're going to say the name when they're gossiping in a pub or a bar. They're going to say, you won't believe what I got today. I got a potato in the post. So that's why I went for We Want Hemp, because it's a bit of a chant. It's like, I got this from We Want Hemp. Oh, we want hemp. Yeah, I want some hemp. WeWantHemp.com. So repeated exposure and leveraging isolation effect, because word of mouth is very vital. People won't really trust us or trust me to when it comes to reviews and information, but they'll trust their friends and other influencers that they know from elsewhere when they talk about it. And the more people can get talking about it, the benefits and features of it, the more into the public conscious it goes. So the question of the day is, do you know any businesses that can Okay, the question of the day is, how do you think you can get hemp into the mainstream conscience? I think through grassroots. How else do you think hemp can go into the mainstream conscience? I think it can go through grassroots, not relying on government, because government is not in your control then. I want to gain as much control as I can and create as much as word of mouth as I can, and not relying on somebody else to create the word of mouth and the awareness for me. If we can do it ourselves, tackling underlying problems, tackling perception and stigma ourselves through clever marketing, evidence and influence marketing, then we can change perspectives, we can change the world. We can do it. It's just how you're going to go about doing it. So anyway, if you haven't already, which ideally you should by now, click on the subscribe button and press the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads, and you'll see me again soon. How cool is that?